Welcome everyone to another episode of the Fruity Femme Fatale podcast. And today, it's been a long time, but we're back because a lot has happened. Way too much has happened. And I'm not alone, so stick around to see who I am with.
Turn the volume on for a woman's football show. You're listening to Fruity Femme Fatale, a women's football podcast.
Okay, welcome back everyone into this Fruity Femme Fatale podcast. And today I am joined with Kyra.
Hey, hi gang, we're back together. Dream
back
team
together. Fruity Femme Fatale, here we are. So we, first of all, there was a lot to discuss. The last time we talked was after the Euros with Wesley. If you haven't seen that episode, go watch it right now. No, wait. Watch this episode first and then go back and watch it. But yeah, what did we discuss? We discussed everything.
I think it was such a great episode. It was really entertaining because we discussed the obviously the stages, the group stage, knockout round, how embarrassed we were or proud of certain teams.
Yep.
It was a really, really fun app.
It was. It was. And then, of course, the players had a little bit of break. And then they came back because the season has started already. We're in the end of November now. When you're watching this, it might already be December. Let's see how fast I can edit this shit. And what has happened so far? So, obviously, all of the local leagues have started. So, the WSL, the Eredivisie, the Bundesliga, Liga F, etc. So, in that regard, we are gonna do things differently from now on. So, on our Instagram and on our YouTube, we are going to upload weekly updates on all of those local leagues, so you don't have to miss a thing. Because obviously, if you wait for our podcast to come, then so many things have already happened. So from 2026 onwards, yes, this is my New Year's resolution. You can quote me on that.
Stay tuned.
If I can make it. You will see some YouTube shorts or Instagram reels in the form of a local league roundup, Champions League roundup, because that's already started as well. And then also anything else. So international breaks, the Nations League finals are coming up. Or actually, it's tomorrow. We're recording it today, but it is tomorrow. So yeah, those will be explained more into our Instagram reels and YouTube shorts. So that's it for the new format. So keep an eye out on that. And within this podcast, we're gonna talk a bit more about, the bigger stories, what's happening in football land, and then specifically for women's football in Europe. Yeah, that's our new format explained. So let's just do other sections that we do keep in this podcast.
Yeah.
One of which is the flag is
up.
So in our virtual flag, you're either offside or onside. In this case, we're talking about the lens of the diversity, inclusion, and equity flag that we have. So on the onside section, we always discuss, okay, what is going on within women's football that's actually positive. So Kyra, what is going on there?
Hannah Hampton,
Yes.
who won this year's BBC's Women's Footballer of the Year, which is a big achievement. It's been won by previous women's legends, I would say, from Kelly Smith, who's like one of the first female players to really make a stance on the game and globally as well. And I think she thoroughly deserved it, and BBC said so too, and it's voted by the public as well.
Nice. Is she the first goalkeeper to win it?
No, Mary.
That's
an interesting topic. Mary Earps has won it. Okay. So we will talk about that later on. But congratulations, Hannah. I think she's had a fantastic year. It's probably probably a couple of years. Yeah.
Nice. And then you also said there's a history. History was made. The first mother and daughter duo. What is this about?
It's the wildest thing. I think it's also a sign of how the women's game is, as we will talk about later on, developing so fast. And because so it's for the first time, I think, on record. I'm not sure if it's happened in Germany. It might have happened in Germany.
Yeah.
But tomorrow or this weekend is the second round of the Women's FA Cup in the UK. And a mother and daughter duo will play in the same team.
No
the
way.
mother, yes, crazy. The mother is 38 in her prime.
Yeah.
And the daughter is 16, and they're playing for the team Hednesford Town. So mum is Hazana Parnell, and daughter is Ramaya Osborne. Yeah, second round. I mean, it's kind of wild, right? Same team, how?
Wow, super cute though.
Yeah, I think for that family, it's going to be a historic moment. That's for
Yes.
sure. As
Yes.
well as us. Yeah. And
There you go.
you wanted to share something else, Tammy?
Yes, there was a
Outside.
record-breaking thing.
Oh yeah.
So, in case you didn't know, Champions League is a different way of the format than previous years. So this year it's a league like it is in the men's game.
Yeah.
So each team plays, I think, 8 games or 6 games. 6, 8, not sure. Home and away. And one of the smaller teams that was qualified for the main Champions League finales or the league phase was OH Leuven in Belgium. It's a very small team with a very small stadium, and they actually sold out their stadium for the very first time because they're playing the Champions League winners, Arsenal. So that's a new record broken in Belgium. So I'm really excited for them as well to see this happening, and they're doing very well. Also, don't forget they're like in the middle of the league, so they might actually have a chance to go into the knockout phase. They have to do an extra round because the first 4 teams go through immediately. So keep an eye out on OH Leuven because they might surprise you.
It would be great, Tammy, if they were actually called Leuven. oh, Leuven. But is it actually OH Leuven? Can we confirm or can you?
I mean, I think it's probably in Dutch. It's hello. No,
really?
I mean, it's derived from 2 cities where it's at.
Right.
So that's why its abbreviation is O.
Right.
So
nice. No, but that's great news for that town and the country and everything and the club as well.
There you go. So that's on-site news for you. So very positive news on this side of the football league. Yeah. But obviously, El voordeel heeft zijn nadeel, as Johan Cruijff would say. The upside side of things. What is happening there?
Yeah, I mean, there's always something going on, isn't there, to balance out the scales. So I think everyone has heard about this by now. If you're not online. So the massive calamity that was Halo, that Sky literally opened on one day and closed on the same day. It was called Halo, and I think it was released on TikTok, if I'm right. And it was basically a new format, a new program for all women's sport. Keep in mind that they were already discussing women's sport on this channel already, but they were like, no, women need to go somewhere else to get specific women content, like totally offshore off the website or anything like that. Anyway, everyone came out and said this is sexist, this is bizarre, condescending. I mean, I would love to know what was happening in the boardroom for the decision making.
It really sounds like they just wanted to keep the male bubble intact. Yeah. And just be like, okay, well, women have different needs, so but then you have people like Kyra that watch both sides.
And I think Sky, for example, have already been doing well. They've got a few of their pundits that they have on the men's game, and on the women's game, they have a few of the male Premier League pundits. Like, it was already fine. I think this was just super childish, to be honest. But yeah, it was a bit of a ha-ha moment. Everyone online was joining in the humour. And there's something else, Tammy, something
on the offside. Yes. So this was a very recent article that I read, which is about the Sky broadcast of the TV audience. If you're unfamiliar with the WSL, the Women's Super League in the UK, their matches are roughly around the weekends. But more on the earlier side, and by early I mean there are matches at noon, there's matches at 3:00, whatever, which obviously will have an impact on your TV audience. So recently the match between Arsenal Chelsea, which is a big match, 2 top teams, the Champions League winner and the league winner against each other. Yeah. And they only scored an audience of 71,000 people,
which is ridiculous when you think of the population of the country. That doesn't make any sense. But
none. And then if you compare it to last year, which was a different time slot, it was like 10 times greater. So 700,000 people watching that game. So
Yeah.
a lot of debate online, a lot of people unhappy with the scheduling of the games, because last time it was on BBC and now Sky Sports is also involved in the rights, TV rights of these matches.
Yeah.
So it is a big issue in the sense that, if you want to promote women's football, please go for it, but then also have a bit more time sensitive. Like, okay, when
Yeah.
are people watching it? When
Yeah.
can they watch it?
Yeah.
And noon is not the answer.
It's not the answer. And then indeed, like you say, trying to promote the game, make it accessible and available to all. I sometimes think there's a battle between trying to get the financing and the what do you call it, the rights and everything over actually letting the people watch.
Yeah.
So I think that number still shocks me, and I think people will be paying attention for the coming schedules, I hope. But it also opens up a bigger debate about when the men and the women play, because this was during the men's international break.
Yeah.
And how they decide
what is a priority?
Yeah, it's a priority. So stay tuned. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more.
It's gonna be a hot topic for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it for the flag is up. I'm sure there's more and more of these, but keep our especially an eye on our Instagram, because we do repost in interesting articles or things that have happened that you can be aware of. So yeah, let's move over to the off pitch antics. All right, the off pitch antics. So in the off pitch antics, we discuss what has happened off the pitch. So meaning anything in the athlete's or the player's personal life, or anything that isn't worth mentioning at all. So we already mentioned her. Mary Earps is the former England keeper.
Goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And
now taking away from Hannah Hampton being the new star keeper.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of controversy this month. What was happening, Kyra?
Yeah, there was a huge amount of controversy. So, Mary Earps, who officially retired from international football.
Yeah.
Is she still playing top football?
Yeah, with PSG.
Oh, yeah. So international football, and that was quite a controversial thing already because of the timing.
Yeah. It was right before the Euros, and there was this debate going on, like who's gonna be the main keeper? Is it Hannah or Mary? And then all of a sudden, Mary's like, by the way, I'm quitting.
Yeah, and I think back then we didn't really know the full story. But so Mary this month released her autobiography.
Yeah.
The title skips me now, but it's been, obviously it was reviewed and discussed, and there was some controversy. So to get to the point, basically, I think women's football with this book became sort of fandom, entertainment, Game of Thronesy type of thing, specifically between her and Hannah Hampton.
Yeah.
And and so and it came out that Mary Earps, basically, she didn't say things that were out and out rude or anything, but she implied, and I think with implications in a book like that, she's implied specifically on Serena and Hannah.
Yeah.
And I think it came out, and of course, and when I say women's football sort of became this whole fandom environment, it did become a sort of, because of the rise of women's football, it became like an entertainment piece. Yeah, gossipy. It was like, and then Serena had to come out during a press conference ahead of an England game, say, "Oh, I
made two decisions based on circumstances and all that."
And then Hannah, maybe you saw as well, Hannah came out and had to say nothing against Mary, like no hard feelings, but she also, it was like a sort of cat and mouse thing. And then Mary also came out and made a statement and said, "This is all blown up for entertainment. And that's what it is. And
this is my story. Like, you can't."
Yeah. She said, "This is my story," and it's true. But I do think it opens up the debate of, it's good and bad, like what you share, and is it as equal to be? Is it damaging to the women's game any more than any other sort of? I don't think it should be treated different, right? It's tricky.
It is. I think it's. I mean, every publicity can be positive, even if it's negative for a player. But at the same time, it is good that people pay attention to it. But then the press is just a huge factor in all of this. First of all, like if anyone was just reading the book and be like, okay, I guess that's her story, and that's it. Yeah. But then someone from the press just took that bit and blew it up.
Yeah, and said they were mortal enemies, and this is the reason Mary stopped her international career. And of course, Mary has been an icon of the England team as well. So then
Yeah.
then you're choosing sides. Are you a Hannah or are you Mary? And it's just
It doesn't make any sense. And of course, there was rivalry. Well, there was also this very awkward moment at the Ballon d'Or where Mary Earps was handing out the best goalkeeper award. I'm not sure what the name was.
Oh yeah.
With Buffon. And then Hannah Hampton won it, so everybody was like, "Look how awkward it is! How Mary is like."
Oh god, the
Of
internet
course.
must have blown up with
Yeah.
that. I missed that. I'll have to catch that. Everyone catch it. Oh,
But yeah, so this is why
yeah.
I feel like there's just this magnifying glass on women's
Yeah.
football, especially with England, because England won the Euros again.
Yeah.
So now everything's just blown out of proportions, and for good reason, because people are interested. It's an interesting story, but then some lies might be told also.
Exactly. And I just want to say, anyone that says anything negative about Serena, I know that maybe that's not. See, now I'm jumping on the
Yeah.
thing, but Serena, I mean, just wonderful coach. She's literally the best. So
Yeah, exactly. Agreed. All right.
Yeah.
One other
That's
uppitch
right.
antics, just quickly. A nice news from Guro Reiten, the Norwegian player that now plays for. I think she plays for. Wait, does she play for Arsenal?
I'm gonna quickly check. Guru, oh, it's not opening.
But her and her partner welcome
welcomed
a
a
baby.
Congratulations!
So cute.
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yay!
You should
Yay!
know this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good
but
job.
yes. So
Nice.
because I remember she was not playing one of the games, and people, the commentators was like, she's because her partner is about to have a baby, so she didn't go into the. I think it was a Champions League match. But anyway, congrats to them. Nice news. And that's it for our off-pitch antics, and we move over to our big spotlight story. So, the spotlight story. In the spotlight story, we always discuss the big stories that are being told in the women's football at the moment, and one of them is a big topic over years, like for years now, and we've kind of mentioned it in each episode, probably like a little bit, and we always said we have to talk about this more. So now's the time to talk about the elephant in the room, the dreaded ACL injury. So last time I think Kyra explained on one of the previous episodes what is an ACL, what does it stand for, because you're the native here.
Oh yes, an anterior cruciate ligament.
See, and that is in the knee.
Yeah.
So that injury is very common in women's football, not only in football but also in other sports. But we just want to mention this. Why? Because again, in recent weeks, there's at least a couple of players that tore their ACL. In this case, Jill Byings from Aston Villa, Manuela Zinsberger from Arsenal, and your fave,
our summer star Michelle Agimang.
also ruptured her ACL.
So young as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's ruptured, torn, stretched. It's a real big injury. It's one of the worst, if not the worst, you can get as a footballer.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this recovery for this injury is usually at least 6 months, can be 9 months, can be more than a year.
Yeah.
It really depends on the player and their physique, and also don't forget their mental state, because it is a big setback. You can't play football, you can't do anything. So yeah, what is an ACL injury? So an ACL injury is, here we go, an anterior cruciate ligament injury. It occurs when the anterior cruciate ligament, ACL, is either stretched, partially torn, or completely torn.
And sometimes you might often hear like commentary and teams say ruptured, which I think is such a visceral word.
Yeah.
Sort of like an explosion, collapse. It's really, it's one of the worst. Yeah. Most common injury
is the complete
tear. So so you can have like the partial and then a complete, which I think when we're talking about these players, and of course Beth Mead and Vivian and Miedema, those were complete tears.
Yeah. And there's when this happens to a player, there might be an audible
Oh yeah.
cracking or pop sound during the injury, so they can actually hear their knee pop out of the not out of the socket, but tear
Yeah.
the muscle. And it sounds horrible. So
Yeah.
I never want to wish this upon anyone.
No.
And women are 7 times more likely to tear their ACL
That's crazy.
compared to men. So 7 times. What do you think about that?
Just that stat of why. My first question is why, and that can't be. Yeah, well, we're gonna go into it, but yeah, why is it so vastly different to the men's? We know ACLs, we're familiar with them. We players have them.
Yeah.
But I think there's a severe, I would say, even epidemic in women's football at this point. With how many there are.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
what factors can make this ACL injury happen? We put a few down. We looked at a few videos. So this is all based on science and research.
Yeah. Expert.
There's also a bit of a caveat. The research is not as strong as other research as might be. So just so you're aware, this is all taken from some videos. So first of all, it always happens with you're lucky to not tear it, or you're unlucky.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it can happen to anyone. I can walk down the stairs and tear my ACL as well. But then obviously there's other factors. So if we just look at the standards that women's football are at the moment, it has rapidly risen, which is a very good sign. Don't get me wrong.
Great.
But at the same time, it also means there's more games, there's more fatigue for the players, it's more intense, the competition is more intense. We've talked about these top teams like Barcelona you're wearing, Chelsea, Arsenal, all of the big teams.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna get more intense because people are getting better, teams are getting stronger, which means it's gonna be more physically demanding for our players.
Definitely.
So that's one factor. Another factor can be women spent less time in the academies than men did. So, we always talk about the development of women's football, but if we look at the very top or the bottom layer, let's say the grassroots layer, the smaller teams where you are a little kid and you want to go and play football, unfortunately, it's still not at the level as the men's or the boys in this case. And this can be a factor of why an athlete is less prepared and can be able to can sustain that injury compared to men.
Yeah, because simply they've just been playing longer.
Yeah.
I mean, we have young boys entering and signing up for clubs like Chelsea and Arsenal at the age of 6. We were talking earlier.
Yeah.
That's just still unheard of in the women's game. I think it will eventually happen. I think it's already, though there are 12, 14, maybe not 12, at least early teens. But yeah, we're talking about years and years of academic body influences and strength training. And yeah, I think that's a really important fact.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, but that's definitely a factor because that totally makes sense. Like women are just less prepared than the men.
Should I talk about knee structure?
Yeah,
we were just watching Step by Step.
Yes, Step by Step.
Step by Step documentary with Beth Mead and Vivian Miedema. I love saying that because it sounds like I'm singing Miedema. And it was very interesting. They were talking about 3 different types of knees. How women, I think, generally have the straight knee structure.
Yeah.
Men most likely to be a bit more bow-legged. And then there was this other one with knee knocking. Yeah. But knee structure is another big factor. And that the way you land, and more women are more likely to land straight-legged, and that could lead. And these are just physiological differences that differences in the male and female body. So this should not be ignored.
Exactly. It's nothing to do with how fit and strong you are. It's just how people are built.
Yeah.
And recently, also an example, I think we discussed it in one of our earlier episodes about the women's foot or the feet.
Yeah.
How they only recently, since the World Cup in 2023, developed women's boots or
Can you imagine? Only recently, professional women's boots are in. Like, that's huge. The men and women's feet have for eternity been different. This is not a new phenomenon, but science is catching up
Yeah, exactly.
with everything else.
So
Yeah.
so now we're understanding that the women's knees are also different positions, so it is a big factor as well for tearing your ACL.
Yeah, definitely.
And then one last factor, and this is one that's most common and most heard of, is the menstrual cycle. So Emma Ross, who's a doctor specifically for women's sports, she mentioned, and I quote, when estrogen is elevated in the second week, it can affect the stability of the joints. So meaning the joints that you have your knee on, they're just less stable when you're in this menstrual cycle, this specific week. So obviously, as we know, the agenda of these players is maybe 2 games per week. So for sure, you're gonna have a game when you're in this specific week in your menstrual cycle, which means you're at higher risk of getting an ACL. Doing your knee, done in your knee
every month.
Yeah, every month, exactly.
I mean, again, it's still what we were discussing earlier. We think it's important to mention the menstrual cycle factor because it's absolutely a physiological, biological difference again. But also that it's also important to mention there's still studies on it.
Yeah.
But I also think it should absolutely be taken into account. If there's a higher risk of injury during that period or literally that moment of the cycle, we need to be paying attention. There needs to be more focus on that protection and everything.
Yeah. And there's now actually, I think it was Arsenal or one of the top teams, they're hiring people to track their menstrual cycle and adapt their training schedules to it. So meaning it's going to be less focused on the joints, it's going to be less so that's an interesting development that we definitely should keep an eye on. Like, okay, let's have a separate department on just this specific thing, because we need to understand women's body and see how we can affect and help support during the menstrual cycles. So yes, it is a factor. It's not the factor, as most people are probably gonna conclude. Like, oh, okay, it's women's are women, so of course. But it is definitely a huge factor within the ACL injury pandemic.
And it definitely is a pandemic. And and then we've got, we know a host of ACL injury family members. It's of course the very, as they say, I don't like to say famous or infamous couple, the ACL couple that launched their series, Leah Williamson and Beth. Mixing up my couples. Beth Mead and Vivian. Within like a month between each other, they both had very serious ACL injuries. We encourage you to watch the documentary.
So that's all on YouTube. It's called Step by Step, the Viv and Beth story or journey, something like that. It's like 5 episodes, and they actually also have one episode where they talk with researchers. It's really interesting to hear their thoughts as well. Speaking of which, I didn't really mention it, but FIFA has actually also finally acknowledged that this is an issue within women's football, and they have funded a year-long research to track the ACL injury and see, okay, where is it coming from, what does it mean, etc. So, because again, the research is very bare on all of these topics. So it is important that there's more data. This is the solution that we can come up with. There's more data, more research, and more recognition or acknowledgement as well. Because I think we can talk about it and not do anything, or we can actually have concrete results and support how we can do it.
And I think it would be very interesting to follow up on their research. Yes. Because it's great that FIFA funded something, but we'd like to know that it's not just, what do you call it? For
la forme.
Precis. It needs to be for the care of the game and wanting to improve it and the health and the fitness of footballers. But there's so many of our famous footballers and favourite footballers that have been injured. Alexia Putellas, Yana Fernandez.
Yes. Leah Williamson.
DVD.
A DVD.
Dong dong dong.
Beth Mead, of course. Chloe Kelly. Victoria Paloma. I saw that one happening right in front of my eyes, which was not fun.
Wow.
Jill Lord was like a couple of years ago, and now the same thing. Who else?
And Tammy, do you know a player? Because I know I can and think of some in the men's game that have had ACLs and that's ended their career. Because once upon a time, way back, they didn't have all the physio or the level of care that they do
True.
now. Has that happened in the women's game where it's ended a few?
I'm not aware. Might be. I know there was one player, I think from Feyenoord, that tore her ACL on one side and then came back and literally tore the other one in the same when the
the weakness of one leg and the other. Right?
Yeah,
That's
so
scary.
that can also happen, which is
Yeah.
horrible. But yeah, no, it's insane. It's insane how much. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was our big story. Any final remarks on this elephant?
Just that we shall be talking about it for sure more because it comes up often. And yeah,
We should have a segment like who tore ACL this week.
Yeah, I think we really should. I think, and as you said right at the top of the episode, that with all these competitions, leagues, new styles of leagues that are changing as well.
Yeah.
We just need to follow up because I think it's going to evolve. I don't think it's ever going to go, but like we said, with the discrepancy between the speed of the game growing, and like the team like OH Lofa, Lofa, and then Chelsea or Arsenal meeting, it's just they're not at the same level of facilities. So how is that going to pan out in the future? So stay tuned, everyone.
Stay tuned. We're here.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so that brings us at the very end of this episode. What is yet to come? So we're gonna wrap up this year, which sounds weird, but we're almost in our last month of 2025. Great. 2026 is coming up, so we should probably do what is happening in 2026. So one thing that is happening, the Champions League final in Oslo.
And who's got a ticket already?
No, I have a plane ticket.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you. Oh, okay, because they're not released.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm a
They're gonna be
professional.
they're gonna sell them in March, I think.
No.
But yeah, so Oslo will be the host of the Champions League final. The Nations League finals, as I said, will happen tomorrow between Spain and Germany. Right? Yeah.
Spicy.
And then there's also a third place match between Sweden and France happening at the same time or earlier, not sure. But it's gonna be home and away, so it's not one match like it is at the men's game. It's just one match.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
But tell me right now, did the women's game take a break over Christmas?
Yeah, they do. But
Even the WSL, all of them, yeah.
a little bit.
They have to. I guess they all have to if they're playing Champions League together in Europe. But this is interesting. I think that's a topic that, stay tuned. I think we're going to talk about that too.
I mean, they're probably all going to be marrying each other.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
babies.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of off-pitch antics
Exactly.
on that.
All right, so
Yeah.
thank you again, Kyra, for
Thank
joining.
you,
See you
Tammy.
next time.
You will.
We will definitely talk about ACL and everything else in between, off and on the pitch. So thank you for joining, and keep an eye out on our Instagram, especially starting 2026, because you'll see some more updates every week. Let's see.
Yeah. We're going to hold it to it. Yay.
All right, thanks guys.
Bye. Bye.